Hey guys, welcome back. This is Adrian Boysel. Man, I have something so special for you guys today that I want to share. This is something that I've only shared on stage and not in person, but today you guys are going to get a special treat, and I'm going to share with you one of my keynotes that I talk about on how to get to 6 figures in 6 months. This is something that I've been doing since the very beginning of my career, and it's because I had a plan of action. And so I'm gonna go into that plan of action and show you how to go through those steps one by one. So the very first step that I wanna do is I wanna take you right into my slide deck so you can see exactly what's happening and how we get started. All right. Again, like I said, my name is Adrian Boysel. I'm the founder and owner of Adrian Graphics and Marketing. We started this company in 2007, and I have been a graphic designer since 2005. Graphic design was just a hobby. It was a side hustle for me. It was something that I got to do for friends and for family, and it's turned into a full-fledged career, and that career has led me down to the road of public speaking. Now, public speaking has been an area that has really pushed me to grow and step outside of my comfort zone because I'm naturally a very extroverted person, but it takes me some time to warm up, and as a kid, I was really shy. So let's get right into it. So as a kid, I always wanted to be the best at everything that I did, no matter what it was, whether it was jumping my bike, doing crazy stunts, whatever that was, I wanted to be the best. I wasn't satisfied with coming in second or third. I have a very competitive nature. That's just who I am naturally, and that also carried into my work career. So as I turned 16, 17 years old and was in high school, I started doing graphic design. I was doing video production and graphic design, trying to follow in my grandfather's footsteps as a video production guy. But I've always had that creative and artistic ability since a very young age to draw. And I remember being a little kid standing in front of my mom and her telling me, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I know someday it's gonna involve computers and art. And lo and behold, I ended up becoming an award-winning graphic designer. Really cool to hear that at such a young age. Maybe that was part of why I ended up doing what I'm doing for a living, but I believe because of my passion and interest in technology, and also my passion and interest in art, it just was a natural progression for me to go that direction. So I really practiced for years and years and years on my craft of being an artist and being a graphic designer before I actually started it as a business. I got a lot of years of experience in that arena, and it really helped me become who I am today. Unfortunately, in 2006, in the midst of just some challenges of my life, I came out of the car business, went into the home loan industry, and really suffered some traumatic losses from my income. And from that, I made some mistakes, took some bad advice, and in 2006, I ended up spending 31 days in jail. That was a really low point and one of the lowest points of my whole entire life. I had to learn a hard lesson to not take advice from certain people, and I had to spend 30 days in jail. And so I looked at that opportunity with my mentor, who was actually with me and by my side at that time, and he told me, look, man, this is not the end of your life. You're still young. You still have an opportunity to come back from this. This is a blow, but you can come back from this. You're a smart guy. You're a talented guy. You're passionate. This should not hold you back, and this should not ruin your life. Don't let it hold you back. So I took that opportunity, those 30 days that I spent in jail, and I actually wrote my entire business plan for a printing company. I had already been doing printing as a little side hustle, like I said, for friends and family and for him, for bars and nightclubs, just doing that on the side. And I really wanted to take it seriously and change my life. And I knew that I had to do something differently. And ultimately, my dream wasn't to work for anybody, but was to work for myself. But I needed to figure out a way to do that. So I just broke it down into simple numbers, and the process that I learned through that experience helped me do what I'm doing today. Well, as soon as I got out, I started sticking to that business plan. The funny story is I actually started in a tiny little office with no windows. It was literally a 10 by 8 office, super tiny, with a futon couch and one desk. And that is how I started my printing company. It was in the back of a barbershop, little hole in the wall, paid a couple $100, and I was actually living in my office. There were some embarrassing moments in there when I had some clients show up and they were like, man, it smells in here. Why are there so many clothes? Do you live in here? And I had to just be really transparent and really honest with them. Look, I'm getting back up on my feet. I've had a hard year, but I've learned from my lessons and I'm moving forward and I'm doing some new things with my life. I got a talent. look at my graphic design work, here's my portfolio, and I really built myself up as somebody who was really passionate and driven to do something good in the world. And that is truly who I was and what I believed in my heart, is I was not going to let the mistakes of my past define my future. And that's what I'm gonna really want to leave with you guys today, as I want you to understand that no matter what mistakes you've made, how big and how small, that you're not damned for that. Your life isn't over for that. That you still have the opportunity to make a change, to make a transformation, and to turn things around in the right direction. But it's gonna take following these steps today that I'm gonna show you in order to do that. Because although money is not high up on the priority list for me, and never has been and probably never will be, it is a very important resource to have if you want your life to be abundant. Money is just a tool to create more abundance in your life, whether it's vacations and freedoms and more businesses, whatever that means for you, money is gonna help you get there quicker. So money is a tool, and it's all about how you use it, and not letting it take control of you and have power over you is really one of the biggest secrets to that. So after I got done living off on my couch, I ended up upgrading, getting a retail store within 6 months of me being out of jail. In 6 months, I had a retail location with a storefront and 30 to 50,000 cars every single day, 7 days a week, passing right in front of my store. So what did I do? I put together a sign shaker, got a little volunteer to go out there and shake the sign a couple hours a day. And next thing you know, I was making a few $100s a day. I was hitting the phones, calling businesses, calling contacts, using referral groups, going out to events and nightclub events and bars and handing out business cards. I mean, I was everywhere talking to everyone, and I actually had a plan to go off of. So that is the first step for you. I want you to take your plan and write it down. And you need to get very specific with that plan. I'm talking very specific. I can't stress that enough. You need to be as specific as you possibly can. These general, just one-liner, I want to do this, or I want to, no, you need to break it down and really focus on what your end goal is. So when you write it down, you need to write down, who is it that you're going after? Who is your client? Once you understand who your client is, then you can understand what their problems are. Okay, so you need to write down who the client is. So for me, when I went to go open up my business as a printing company, I knew that I was a small business owner and that I wanted to help other small business owners. I saw an opportunity to help those business owners by actually creating my designs and using them for their businesses. So I would take custom designs that I would make specifically for them, and I would help them promote their businesses. It would increase their branding, it would increase awareness, I would do flyers, I would promote them. There was a lot of different things that came from helping them solve their problem of, hey, I need more attention, I need more business. So I used my creative gift and my creative ability to bring their business more attention through great branding and great design. That's how I did it. So again, you need to know who they are, what their problem is, and how you're going to solve it. It's very important. That is a big part of your brand strategy and your tone of voice. Everything that you write should be about who your customer is, what their problem is, and how you're going to fix it. You should be saying that over and over and over again. And there may be multiple problems that you need to solve, but that is the main focus of what you need to do, is who they are, what their problem is, and how you're going to fix it. Warren Buffett says, an idiot with a plan can beat a genius without one. It's a really good quote, and it's really true. If you have a plan, your chances of success are so much higher. I don't know the actual percentages, but I know that there's a night and day difference between you being successful or not. You need to write it down. I cannot stress that enough. You gotta have a plan and put it in writing. So if you look, like I said, after 6 months, I opened up my first retail location. This was it here. This was in 2007. It was called California Design and Printing. I actually put a little K on there. Thought I was pretty creative, pretty fun. Kind of stood out from the crowd. Was doing something really neat. And we painted the front windows, had all these cars going by. And I really went out there and pushed myself outside of my comfort zone and just met as many people as I possibly could. As you can see, my graphic design skills started to getting really good. I started really honing my craft and understanding how to craft messages a lot better than I did before. And I was really getting a big impact off of the designs that I was creating. And that was getting a lot of business that was coming back to me, because people would be like, wow, this guy just designed this stuff right in front of me while I sat there and I watched him create this right out of his brain from scratch, literally from a white canvas. And they would go and tell their friends. And so I started getting referrals from those people. It was really powerful. After just a couple years, I ended up remodeling my first space and put the tinted windows on there, redid my signage, and I brightened up the whole place. I really wanted to have a loud, in-your-face, really prominent brand that matched my personality, that matched what I was doing for my clients. And so I had given all this time and talent to these clients and showing them my abilities, but I hadn't showcased that myself for my own business. So I really took a next step after a couple years of really getting a lot of experience in signage and graphics and marketing. I actually took that next step and enhanced my business storefront. And my sales literally doubled just from changing my storefront. It was incredible. So in 2010, I was just going through just a really big growth spurt of my life. I was now 2.5, almost 3 years into my business, and I was just seeing explosive growth. But as an individual and as a person, I really felt like I was missing a part of my life, and I was raised with Christian values and as a Christian, but I had really drifted away from that. And one of my employees invited me to church, and next thing I know, I was getting baptized with my grandmother, and it was just a really, really special day, and it really helped me unload a lot of the baggage and just the shame and the guilt and the regrets and the things that I had done earlier in my life in 2007 and 2006 and 2005, like all of those years before, all the way through the time I was a kid. It really helped me let go of those things, and I really felt like I could start fresh and start new. It was a really important part of growing as a person, because if you want to level up and continue to increase your income, you have to level up your mindset. And in order to level up your mindset, you have to get rid of those limiting beliefs. And so I had to get rid of those things that were holding on to me and that had power over me as a child. And my faith was a really big way and a really big tool to do that for me. So just a couple years later, about a year actually later, I opened up another location, a big facility. It was 3,000 square feet, and I had 8 employees working for me. By this time, we were already doing more than $250,000 a year. We were almost at $300,000 a year, just started from zero. I had no cash, no loans, no investors. I just did it all cash. I bootstrapped the business, and I got it all the way to a 3,000 square foot facility in downtown Sacramento, which is the capital of California. It was a really proud moment. I had a lot of confidence. I had gained a lot of clients. By that time, I was already over 3,000 clients. So I gained a ton of business, and I had reoccurring revenue coming in from those customers that were repeat customers. And we were just really starting to chug along. And, I learned some things through that move. When I moved from my Citrus Heights location, my small little spot that you saw there at the beginning, to my big location, man, I lost 30% of my business just by moving out of my neighborhood that I was in. And that was a big deal, and something that I should have taken a little more cautiously. I probably should have kept that Citrus Heights location and just opened up the downtown location, but I was trying to think smart, was trying to keep my overhead low, and I shut that location down, and it cost me. But I did recover from it, and unfortunately, I ended up selling that business. It was a really good win for me at the time, but I was really so invested in that company and in that brand, I wanted to take it nationwide. And the guy that bought the business kind of sold me on this pipe dream that he could take it nationwide. And in reality, all he really wanted to do was dissect the business, take the equipment, take my strategies, and implement them into his own business. And ultimately, I sold that business and lost that brand, and I had to completely start over from scratch. It was a really big deal. It was hard for me to regain my confidence after that. But as you can see, my location in downtown Sacramento was beautiful. We remodeled the whole thing, redid the floors. We put a lot of time, a lot of heart, and a lot of energy into this place. And I had really developed an identity and a brand in the Sacramento area as the go-to printer and the go-to designer. People could literally come in, sit down with me. I would take the time to understand their business, understand their passions, understand their dreams, and I truly cared about people. And I think it was that level of care, and I still believe to this day, it was that level of care and concern and compassion and interest in who they were. It wasn't about me. I was there to do and to live out my life's passion, which was doing art, was doing graphics and small business. I was playing business as a little kid. That was my dream. And so I was living my dream every day, day in and day out, 7 days a week, 15, 16, 18 hours a day. And so I had to really take myself out of the equation and put them first. And that's what I did. And they saw that. People can feel that. When you actually care about people and you put them first, it makes a big difference. They can tell the people that are just out for themselves versus the people that are actually genuinely caring about you. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to stop overthinking it. A lot of entrepreneurs that are starting up 3,000, whatever a month, whatever that is, and they really struggle to create a plan that actually is going to help them scale up to 6 figures. 6 figures is that first benchmark that you have as an entrepreneur of going from just a couple thousand, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month to that $8,000 a month and higher income, so that you can actually be a 6-figure business. So if you think about it, at the end of the day, making 6 figures is all numbers. It's all numbers on a lot of different levels. It's how many people are you going to talk to? How many orders are you going to do? What are you going to sell? What are you going to sell to them, and how much are you going to sell it for? So I knew all those numbers, and I had written all those numbers down on my business plan like I talked to you about. So what I knew I needed to do is I needed to sell a $200 product to 500 people. Now remember, I said I had over 3,000 customers. My average ticket was $200. So you can see here, I did multiple 6 figures in my very first year with that printing company, that tiny little spot. 500 people was easy. That's only 3 people per day. So if I'm going out there and having a sign shaker stand out there on a retail space, I'm gonna bring in 3 or 4 people a day just off of that. And then I'm gonna hit the phones and call 30, 40 people. And then I'm gonna call my buddy Larry and say, hey man, I need some referrals. Who do you know that I can help that can do some business cards and some printing and some flyers for? And I was always asking for referrals. And so all those 3 to 5 customers that I got on a daily basis, they were all giving me referrals. So eventually I had so many referrals coming in, I did not need to spend a dime on marketing. Now, if you want to sell a $500 product, you only need to sell that to 200 people to make 6 figures. That's 1 a day for 6 months. Remember, this is 6 figures in 6 months, not 6 figures in a year, which technically, if you do that every 6 months, now you're making $200,000 a year. You can sell a $1,000 product. So if you have a product that you're going to launch that's maybe $997, you only need to find 100 people in 6 months. That's 2.4 per day for 6 months. That's nothing. Now, if you sell a $2,000 product, you only need 50 people. Come on, man, 50 people, that's nothing. If you can't get 50 people in 6 months, then you should go get a 9-to-5. And part of what I'm teaching you today is so that you can break free of your 9-to-5. If you are in a 9-to-5, you can do this part-time. I'm telling you, it doesn't take 14, 15, 16, even 8-hour days to accomplish this. I've done this myself. So step 2, action. You gotta take massive action. And if you have only a limited amount of time per day, let's just say it's 2 or 3 hours a day, then you need that time per day to be extremely focused and completely planned out. So maybe you're gonna spend 30 minutes prospecting every day. Maybe you're gonna spend another 30 minutes talking to your friends and connections and your existing people that you're already working with and asking for referrals. Maybe you're gonna send out 30 minutes a day of emails. It would probably be smart to stay off of social media because you can burn up so much time on social media, but it's also another prospecting method. You can go to business pages and reach out to people and say, hey, I found your business here on Facebook. I'd love to help you out. I do XYZ, and that's an easy way to do it. So like I said earlier in this conversation and earlier in this talk, is you really have to genuinely care about people. That is the root of your success. If you are not genuinely caring and putting your interest and putting people first, people are gonna see it, they're gonna feel it, and they're gonna know it. And I want you to be transparent. Like I said, when I was homeless and then when I moved from jail into that tiny little room with the futon bed, I told people, look, man, I'm living out of here right now, but this is temporary. I need your support. I need your business to get back on my feet, to change my life. I have a mission, I have a dream, I have a vision, and I was transparent about my mistakes and who I was as a person, and they respected that. When you're more transparent with people and you tell them your flaws and your issues and your challenges, and you say, hey, look, this is where I was, this is where I'm going, and this is what I'm gonna be doing, I'm going forward, that is huge. People will respect that and they'll relate to you more. And relatability is a huge characteristic in sales. If you want to be successful in sales, you need to be relatable. And to do that, you need to be transparent. So through doing that, I underpromised and always overdelivered. That was a big deal in my printing company. And I still work on that to this day. I'm not perfect. Every once in a while, I get really excited. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And sometimes it just doesn't work out as according to plans. It's just the name of the game in business. You can't make everybody happy, and not everything's gonna go according to plan. But as much as you possibly can, at every opportunity that you can, underpromise and over-deliver. Be yourself, be genuine. Don't be afraid. Don't put on some fancy show and try to act like you're a big shot. Just be real with people. People are gonna respect that, and you're gonna have a lot more success that way, even if you're small. And with taking massive action, one of my good buddies, And he's probably the one that I've seen that takes just an insane amount of action and inspires me a lot. In fact, I have his book right behind me here. His name is Carlos Secura, and he says, if you want to blow up, you have to show up. And that is huge when it comes to taking action. If you want to blow up, you got to show up. So if you want success, you're going to have to show up and put in the time. And you know what? If you're working a 9 to 5, most likely you're working 5 days a week. And if that's the case, that gives you 2 days a week where you could bust your ass another 8 hours a day, twice a week. That's 16 hours. Do you know what you could accomplish in 16 hours of time? Whether it's emailing, prospecting, calling, whatever that is, you can get to those 100 people, 200 people, 500 people, whatever that number is and whatever your price point is to get to your 6 figures. That's where I want you to start. So 3 ways to bring in sales without even spending a dime in marketing. It's pretty cool. Number 1 is referrals. Referrals are a huge opportunity to grow your business. If you bring on 1 customer, you should be able to get 3 more customers out of every single customer, and you need to build that into your sales process. So as soon as you're done with that customer, I would automatically funnel them into asking for a review, and then right after they write the review, say thank you so much. Now, who are 3 people that you could recommend to me that I can also go out there and help? And you'll be blown away. Sometimes you'll get 1 referral, sometimes you'll get 2 referrals, sometimes you'll get 3 referrals, and sometimes you'll get 10. There are people out there like my friend Larry who are connectors. They'll just keep sending you referrals, but you gotta ask for it. It's really important. Number 2, and this is something that I've been working on a lot more in the last couple of years and it's really helped me, is community groups. Getting with entrepreneurial groups, meetup.com, Facebook groups, all these different meetup groups is a really good opportunity to put yourself out there and to meet other people that are in business, that are in your space, whatever it is that you're doing, and to go out there and actually generate those real relationships that are going to turn into real income. Very, very important. And then number 3 is pick up the phone and start dialing. Just like the Wolf on Wall Street says, pick up the phone and start dialing. It's so important. Before I went to jail, before I had my big downfall, I worked in the mortgage industry. And during that time, I was calling over 200 people a day, getting over 10 applications and closing over 6 deals a month at an average of about $8,000 a deal. As a kid, I was 18 years old. It was ridiculous. So that's what I'm saying is the power of calling people still works to this day. And if they're not picking up and answering the phone, then text them. Whether it's texting or calling, using your phone costs you $0 other than what you're paying for your bill anyway. So utilize the phone, pick up the phone, start dialing, start texting, start reaching out, start joining community groups, and start connecting with people and asking for those referrals. It's so important. That's gonna really help you build a lot of momentum and you don't have to spend any money to do that. It costs you nothing to ask for a referral. All right, number 3, this is a big one, grow. Right? So once you've kind of started to build that momentum and you're going to continue to grow, you're going to need to continue to develop your skills. You need to really focus on continuing to set aside time to hone in your skills and get better and better and better. All the great athletes and business owners in the world, they read 50, 60 books, they have multiple coaches, they never stop learning. They're always working on their craft, they're always working on their jump shot, they're always working on their business, they're always refining, they're always looking at data. You have to keep learning and you have to keep open-minded. The second thing that I did that was really helpful in my growth was I started to delegate. You know, as a business owner, you get to that point where like you want to do it all yourself and you're going to be the DIYer and, oh, I can't trust anybody to do it right. And every time I've tried to have somebody do it, they didn't do it right. That isn't a reflection of them. That's a reflection of you. And you need to improve your hiring skills and your interviewing skills. If you're finding people and you're hiring them and they're not producing the outcome that you want, it's because you're not being picky enough about the people. There are plenty of people, plenty of jobs out there open, and there are plenty of opportunities to find really great talent, but you got to be picky about who you're working with. And then the third one is those client relationships. Like I said, I'm going to harp on this so much. The referrals is everything. If you want to grow, you got to keep getting referrals. And then once you've reached that point where you have tons of referrals coming in, you got tons of revenue, then you can start spending your money on advertising and marketing. You can do SEO on your website. You can run Google ads. You can run Facebook ads. There's tons of stuff that you can do to drive in new business. And you got to start with referrals. It's free. It's easy. It's as simple as going, hey man, who else can I help? You loved my service. You wrote me a great review. Who else can I help? I need 3 people. And you can give them, send them an email and put some 1, 2, 3 on there and have them fill in the blanks. Say, hey, please put down 3 people that you think I could help. So one of my big things, and as you can tell, is I'm very passionate about this. I love this stuff so much. Money flows when passion shows. So something else I want you to take away from this, and we're gonna get to some takeaways here in just a minute, is if you don't invest in yourself and you're not pouring into yourself and training yourself and doing coaching and doing masterminds and really investing into yourself, into your own education and educating yourself, whether it's watching YouTube videos, if you don't make that investment in yourself, other people are gonna see that and they're not gonna invest in you. Trust me. So the 3 takeaways that I want you guys to have today is keep your business plan simple. I know I said it needs to be detailed, but it needs to be detailed and simple. Don't overcomplicate it, but I want you to keep it simple. How many people, who are your customers? What do they need? Or what is their problem? And how are you gonna fix it, right? Then you're gonna talk about how many people, you're gonna write down how many people you're gonna reach every single day, what they're gonna spend per person. So you need to understand what your average ticket's gonna be of what they're gonna spend with you, so you can figure out how many people you actually need to contact every day. That's super, super important. And then the big thing that I see a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with in the beginning is creating an irresistible offer. You have to create an irresistible offer that actually solves somebody's problem. And you notice that's why I put that in the very first step of this, and step 1 is you actually have to solve people's problems. Just going out there and pushing something to people that they don't want or they don't need is gonna just create resistance, and you're gonna have a really hard time gaining momentum on that. You actually need to solve problems, because when you solve their problems, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna go out there and talk. They're gonna talk about you. Man, I had this challenge, I was trying to do this, I was trying to do that. Hey, just like you watching this video, you're probably struggling to get to 6 figures. If you apply these principles in this training and in this talk, and you hit 6 figures, guess what's gonna happen? Man, I watched this video by Adrian Boysel, and he showed me how to make 6 figures. He broke it down for me, and I actually hit 6 figures in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Guess what that's gonna do? When you go out there and talk, it's gonna lead people back to me. More people are gonna want my help, more people are gonna watch my videos, and the right people are gonna have success from that. And when you get to a certain level of success, guess who you're gonna come back to when you need help growing your business? Me. That's providing real value up front without asking for anything in return. And that is really important. For me, I've always been a huge person on building relationships. Relationships are the key to my success. If it wasn't for the relationships that I've built with the friends and the mentors and the clients that I have, I would not be where I am today. So I've created irresistible offers, I've picked up the phone and dialed, but without the authentic and genuine relationships and me being transparent and truthful and real with people, I would not be where I am today. I'd be a lot further behind. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope you enjoyed this talk. If you have any questions, you got a comment, please don't forget to subscribe, to like the video. I need your subscriptions. This helps me really keep continuing to create content and add value to you guys, because I have so much more coming. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So love you guys. Hope you have a blessed day. And as always, keep looking up.